Hello, researchers. Here is just a quick tip to lift the level of your research notes. So, you've been taking a lot of notes, no matter what your topic is, and your notes may be starting to look something like this. Maybe you have a lot of bullets. Maybe you're starting to make some boxes, underline some things that feel important. But wherever you're at, it's probably early on in your research stage if your notes are looking like this. So once you have a lot of this stuff in your notebook, it means it's time for you to start to think about how you might categorize your notes and how you might elaborate on your notes. So the first thing we could do to categorize our notes is to just look across and think about what is repeating here. What ideas keep coming up again and again on this page? And I also could look at cross pages to think about other ideas from before and how they're fitting in with now. A couple things I'm thinking about here, if you've been following me as I've been researching Darius, is that this is the fourth or fifth time I've been jotting about how he's helping animals. Also, this is like the fourth or fifth time I've been jotting about how he started his research. He started his work as an activist after a natural disaster, after seeing natural disaster on the TV. So I'm thinking that one thing I could say here, a main idea, if I was going to add a bullet or a box, probably a box because we're categorizing them, would be to actually put this at the top and name it clearly so that I can remember what this page or what these notes really were teaching me. So overall, I'm thinking that I could say Darius was moved emotionally by the stories of animals after natural disasters and around space. Say that. I also could say that, so like that's a main idea. I also could flip this a little bit more and think about how this is actually teaching me the reason why, or maybe even the cause for his activism. So I could even change this into becoming more like cause and effect. So the cause, maybe this is like Darius's activism is a result of his compassion for those in need. That could work. So one thing you could be doing is categorizing your notes. What if, let me show you what this looks like now. What if you've already done that? What can you do next? Well, let's say I have all of these notes and I'm thinking about how I'm going to go with Darius. Darius's reason for his activism is because he cares so much about the animals that he saw on TV or the animals that have been displaced. Another thing I could do is to elaborate by asking similar questions, but more focusing on what do all these jots here have in common, and perhaps then pushing myself beyond the page and asking what new insight or big ideas do these jots lead me to. With this, I always like to use some of my ways to push our thinking charts. One of those charts looks like this, if you're familiar. So if I'm going to spark a new idea, I'm going to pull from this and think, well, after looking across all these jots, what I realize is that I'm thinking beyond this page, so it's beyond Darius, thinking that oftentimes activism is often somebody turning a bad situation into something beautiful. So I'm thinking then this could be a talking point for my future podcast or my future research paper, because it's a big enough it's a big enough component to become a main idea or a paragraph, but it's actually so big, it could even be the thesis of an essay. So as you continue your research today, I want to encourage you to not just stop at jotting down facts, jotting down things that you're learning, but to take the time to stop and think about how you can lift the level of your notes. So I just showed you how you might categorize your notes using either main ideas or text structures. I showed you how you might elaborate on your notes. And then one thing just to add in is maybe you ask your notes questions. Just for fun, I could go back to all of this and I could ask the question of, how did Darius get started as an activist? So I hope that these 3 ways might help you today, whether you're working on a podcast as well or any other research. I can't wait to see what you do.